You may be surprised to learn that there are still numerous African cultures and traditions alive today. Despite having 54 different countries, Africa is also home to more than 3,000 tribes. These tribes typically each have their own distinct civilizations, which may differ from one another or overlap. Here are the 10 elements of African cultures you never knew of. Please don't forget to hit on the subscribe button if you haven't subscribed. 1. Food. Our culture is greatly reflected in the way we cook the food we eat. It serves as a representation of our ethnicity and a coping mechanism for when we miss home. Every sub-region of Africa has its own particular cuisine, prepared in a variety of ways. Because of colonialism, the majority of the cuisine in Central Africa still has a Portuguese influence. Starchy herbs are frequently used to prepare dishes in Western Africa. Southern Africans are renowned for being huge BBQ fans. African staple foods include rice, yams, fufu, and pojekos, that is a traditional Afrikaner stew. 2. Dance. For many centuries, dancing has served as a form of expression. For diverse situations, there are several dancing styles in Africa. By observing the dance moves, you may quickly determine the occasion in several African societies. Different regions in Africa have distinctive dances. In Nigeria, Hausa women frequently dance for spiritual possession and healing. Young males in Zulu dance in ways that honor the triumphs of earlier battles and warriors. The elder generations are still committed to their traditional dance, despite the fact that Western dance forms and pop culture are becoming more appealing to young people. 3. Beadswork. Africans used to manufacture beads out of shells, seeds, and bones before the discovery of beading made with synthetic materials. Over time, synthetic beads imported from Europe and Asia took their place. Beads were a sign of royalty or worn for coronations in old African societies. For instance, during coronations, the Igbo tribe of eastern Nigeria are renowned for wearing crimson beads that resemble tags. Anyone who is not a chief is not allowed to wear them. Beads will convey a lot about the person to the Southern African, Zulu, and Maasai people. For instance, a brightly beaded babe worn around the neck can reveal the wearer's age and marital status. 4. Respect. Respect for elders is highly valued on the African continent. In the southwest of Nigeria, the Yoruba people believe it is improper for either a man or a woman to kneel or prostrate while greeting an elder. Many people think that treating adults with respect is a blessing for long life and a sign of how you will be treated when you are old. Respect is an ancient African custom that is preserved by consecutive generations of parents. It is therefore not unexpected that Africans in the diaspora frequently send their kids home to teach them respect. This overly strong emphasis on references for elders has developed into a distinct African culture. 5. Sculpture. African sculptures are made of stone, wood, and occasionally metal. They frequently represent a small representation of real-life persons or spirits and are abstract figures. Numerous works of African art and sculpture can be seen in museums throughout Europe and beyond. During the colonial era, the vast majority were stolen from Africa. The cultural value of African sculptures is immense. African deities, for instance, are shown in stone, wood, or metal carvings. It is therefore not as unexpected that several African nations are making great efforts to bring back their stolen antiquities. Africans in diaspora frequently bring this African culture with them by using statues to adorn their homes. 6. Religion. African religions and beliefs are diverse. Contrary to popular belief, many Africans held the belief in presence of a supreme being before the colonial era. Some civilizations, however, believe that the creator withdrew after the creation and that they can still communicate with him through sacrifices and ceremonies. Ama, Sango, and Mulungu are a few African deities. The majority of Africans were raised with the belief that a spiritual being watches over them and provides them with direction in life. For some of these gods, traditional ceremonies are frequently performed at various periods. Despite the fact that Western religion now predominates in Africa, some Africans still practice their traditional faith. Different African nations continue to follow several traditional religious practices today. 7. Music. Over time, African music has undergone change. Sticks, animal skins, and animal horns were previously used to make African musical instruments. Compared to music from other cultures, African music is distinctive. Rarely will you find an important African traditional festival without a sophisticated musical performance. One way that Africans in the diaspora stay connected to their roots is through music, which is often referred to as meal for the soul. Language. The purpose of a language is to facilitate communication and forge deep connections among its speakers. In general, Africans believe that statements uttered in their native tongues or dialects have more impact than those said in other languages. The catchphrase Hakuna Matata, made famous by the Lion King film, originated in the Swahili language. Although Hakuna Matata and Don't Worry have the identical meanings, the local accent is more respected. Africans therefore constantly make an effort to speak the local dialect wherever they travel. You wouldn't be mistaken if you said that the most adaptable African tradition is language. And dressing. African clothing ranges from regional adiri or tie and dye clothing to embroidered clothing and vibrant Ankara. African clothing is distinctive and simple to recognize due to its elegance and brightness. Native African attire has developed into a simple tool for ethnic identification all around the world. One African habit that continues to be widely accepted today is wearing African attire. The region of Africa that a person hails from can be inferred with a high degree of accuracy from glancing at their clothing. 10. Hairstyles. Hairstyles in traditional African cultures and communities might denote a person's spirituality, membership in a tribe, job level, or social standard. Like with apparel, a woman's hairstyle and ethnicity can reveal a lot about her. In our earlier post on the history of African hairstyles, we went into great length about it. Some Africans living abroad have expressed concern that they don't know how to maintain ties with their homeland. You indirectly celebrate your culture every time you wear your local haircut. Once more, the distinctive hairstyles of Africa are eroding over time. Women today create trends by fusing their traditional hairstyles with modern ones. However, the importance of hairstyles in African culture is sometimes overlooked.